Hello friends, today I'm starting another Christmas quilt. I haven't forgotten about my little mini blocks. I'm going to be using those in another quilt, but right now I'm going to be making one using this pattern, 12-inch sawtooth star, but I will be alternating this one with the star block. It's going to make a really pretty pattern. I'm going to use some cornerstones and sashing in between, and then have a border around the outside. So let me give you a quick review of how I make my sawtooth star. Cut my triangular pieces with my AccuQuilt. So for that I have a 1/4 square triangle, which is number 4 in the 12-inch cube set, and then I have number 5, which is the 1/2 square triangle, the small one, and then I have this one. The square ones I did not cut with AccuQuilt. This is a 6.5 inch square. I can do that faster with my Stripology ruler. And then these small ones are 3.5 inch squares. And I think I figured out that if you don't have AccuQuilt, you can make these with a 4-inch square. Just cut them in half diagonally. You might have to trim them down a little bit after the flying geese units are made. This one, I think you have to use about a 5.5 inch square and cut those in half. Or you could do a 7.5 inch square and cut it in quarters like this. But I really think it's easier just doing it as a 1/2 square triangle. Alright, so let me show you how I'm going to put this one together, and then I'll show you the quick alternate block. Alright, so the first thing I like to do is put my flying geese units together. So simple. You do not have to worry about stitching and flipping and trimming. Just the stitching and the flipping. No measuring, except for your 1/4 inch seam, of course. Now, what I like to do on the first one is to press it towards the center of the unit. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to press it to this dark. So it looks like this. And then I'll put the other side on. We have to make sure we line these little blunt ends up and line these sides up. Okay. Now this one I'm going to press towards the little 1/2 square triangle. So they'll be pressed in different directions. You don't have to do it that way, but that's just my method. That way I don't have so much bulk right there. And speaking of bulk, I like to open that up and just clip that little bit of bulk off right there, because that makes less when you have to go through it, and you don't have those big bumps on your flying geese units. Now, I have already made my other 3 flying geese units to save time, just like I made those. So now all I have to do is sew this together like a giant 9-patch. So we'll start, I like to start on this side. Some people start off with the other side. So I'm going to just start and just sew them vertically like this one, and this one, and then go back and add the ones on this side. Okay, now center unit, and let me trim these because I didn't do them. You don't have to do this, but it just helps a little bit with the bulkiness. And of course, when we're doing this, we don't want to go on the wrong side of our little seam here. We want to make sure we don't sew off our point, is what I'm trying to say. now we just have to add this one. Now I know some people just web these and leave them together and flip them over. I haven't really perfected that yet. I guess I like to see what they're going to look like ahead of time. Okay, so there's one. Lay it back out up there. I don't know if you can even see that. There we go. And then let's get this one pressed out. I like to press as I go. You don't have to, but that's just me. And then this one goes to the inside. And then we'll just sew these on. I will find a little clip to do this with. And I will put a little pin right there so that I don't sew over that point. The other ones weren't too difficult, but this one, you want to make sure that you have it lined up correctly. These I will go ahead and press to the outside. Make sure those seams are nice and flat. In fact, I'm going to spray it just a little bit. Let me press that down now. Now, this should measure 12 inches. It could be a tiny bit off. I might have to straighten up some of the seams just a little bit, but it's really, really close. I've got a little piece right there I might need to trim off. Other than that, that's my Sawtooth Star made with AccuQuilt plus other method. Alright, now let me show you how I'm going to do my alternate block. This one is so super easy, and you could put anything in the center of one of these. So easy and fast. Alright, so the first thing I want to do is sew these together. This is my 3.5 inch. This is 3.5 by 6.5. I just cut these. I could have cut them with AccuQuilt, but I just cut them with my Stripology. Cut them any way you like. It's always more than one way, huh? And you could put this one together like a 9-patch also. But I'm going to just go ahead and do it this way. These will be going to the outside again. Put the other end on it. The reason I didn't do this one with a 9-patch is because I've already stitched one end together. I didn't think you needed to see me do it twice. So we have these 2 units made. Now I just have to do the others the same way, the middle one. This is a 6.5 inch block, just like in the Sawtooth Star. We're going to press it towards the center. Put the other end on it. To the center. Okay, just like that, we're ready to put our 3 pieces together. Just flip this one over. I'm going to go ahead and clip these on the seams. They should nest perfectly. This one will press to the outside. Now, if I was going to be sewing these 2 blocks right next to each other, if I wasn't going to do sashing, I might push this one toward the center since the other one is towards the outside. But since I'm going to be doing sashing, I don't have to worry about that. That is what I love about doing sashing. There are very few seams to have to match up. Okay. Here are alternate blocks. I made 10 of each of these, so I will have 20 blocks with sashing, cornerstone, and borders. So it'll be a nice size row quilt. Alright, let me get my sashings and cornerstones ready, and then I'll come back and show you how I'm going to be setting this all up together.